Upton Sinclair was born in 1878 in Baltimore, Maryland. His family had almost no money due to the Civil War, and his father was an alcoholic. Sinclair was interested in the dangers of food from a young age, writing his first story as a young boy about a pin that ended up in a family's meal. He was arguably the most influential journalist of the muckraker era. Sinclair was a strong believer in better conditions for workers, after he saw the poor conditions that many were working under during the Gilded Age. Seeing this problem, he released a book titled The Jungle, where he described the conditions of factories that many had to work under. This novel used a storyline to provide a seemingly fictional novel, but went into thorough detail about the horrors of the Chicago meatpacking industry, going in-depth on issues such as unfair treatment of workers, pollution in rivers, and cleanliness of meat production. Though Sinclair's original approach was to receive better conditions for factory workers, this is not the reason for the magnitude of his influence. Many Americans read The Jungle and became vegetarian, leading to a new anti-meat movement that is still prevalent today. Those that continued eating meat became very skeptical of what they were consuming, leading to the first big push in food reform. As a member of the American Socialist Party, many Americans disagreed with Sinclair's politics, but this didn't stop people from citing Upton Sinclair's work when pushing for food reform throughout the 20th century or even today. The reason why I believe that Upton Sinclair deserves to be on the APUSH Wall of Fame is because of the public reaction to his work. Though we now see Sinclair as a muckraker, he saw himself as a journalist that would subtly convey his ideas through his work. Though he may have been an accidental muckraker, he was still very influential in food reform. After the release of The Jungle, Americans sent thousands of letters to the White House asking for reform, eventually causing President Roosevelt to invite Sinclair to meet with him and discuss his novel. After this discussion, President Roosevelt issued an order to investigate the cleanliness of Chicago meatpacking plants, and when this investigation proved what Sinclair had said was true, Americans were horrified. After intense backlash, Roosevelt helped put in place the Meat Inspection Act of 1906. This act allowed inspectors from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to block mislabeled or otherwise unsafe meat from reaching the American public. Sinclair is important, not just because of the massive response to his work, but also because he helped to lessen the power that corporations had over the people by exposing their wrongdoings. As businesses have a history of maximizing profits at the risk and safety of others, it is important to always be suspicious of those profiting off of you. Sinclair was not only suspicious of corporations, but he followed through to ensure that they were not harming their workers or the American people. Many have followed in the footsteps of Upton Sinclair, exposing big businesses for unsafe or unlawful practices. One example of this is Jeffrey Ballinger's 1991 report that proved that Nike was using child labor in unsafe conditions in Indonesia to produce their products. Even after his success in releasing The Jungle, Sinclair did not stop trying to make change in the United States. He ran for governor of California twice, once in 1930 with the Socialist Party, and once in 1934 as a Democrat. Even under the Democratic Party, he continued to push many socialist ideas. He was defeated both times, but won 44% of the vote in 1934. This loss was not detrimental to him, as he was still able to share his beliefs with the American people through his campaign. After his success, Sinclair went on to live until the age of 90, after moving to New Jersey to be with his son. Though it is easy to forget the influence that Sinclair had on America, it is obvious that he was not only responsible for major food reform in the early 1900s, but also began the long journey of eliminating corrupt businesses from America.